Amazon says this wind turbine can produce hundreds of watts of free electricity. Thousands of buyers gave it 5 stars, calling it a game changer for backup power and a smart hedge against the next blackout. So I bought the best-selling model on the entire platform, mounted it in a real backyard, not a lab, and let it run for 7 full days without touching it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how much power it actually produced, and why one single number on the box fooled almost everyone who left a glowing review. Here's the pitch, word for word from the listing and the top comments. Rated wattage watts of clean energy, free electricity from the wind, day and night, energy independence for your home, a payback period the company itself claims is under claimed payback. Read quickly, that sounds like a no-brainer purchase. Read carefully, it's a collection of technically true statements arranged to create an impression that may not survive contact with your actual electric bill. I want to be upfront about something before we go any further, because it matters for what this video is and isn't. This is not a takedown. Nothing about this listing is fraudulent. Rated wattage watts is a real number this turbine can genuinely produce, under the right conditions, for short stretches of time. The hardware inside this thing is legitimate engineering. What nobody in 5,000 5-star reviews seems to be asking is a much simpler question. How often do those ideal conditions actually happen in a normal backyard, on a normal week, for a normal homeowner? That's the question this video answers with real measured numbers, instead of a spec sheet. I'll give you one clue right now, before we get into any of the details, because it's the thing that actually surprised me. The biggest surprise in this whole test wasn't the highest number I measured all week. It was the average. Keep that in the back of your mind, because everything in the next few minutes builds toward that one number. So what exactly is this thing? This is a vertical axis wind turbine, the kind with curved scoops on a spinning shaft instead of the classic propeller blades you're picturing right now. That design isn't new or gimmicky. It's been used for decades on sailboats, RVs, and remote cabins, specifically because it can catch wind from any direction without needing to turn and face it, which makes it genuinely well suited to a rooftop or a backyard pole, where the wind never blows from the same direction twice. Nothing about the hardware is the problem here. I want to say that clearly, because the honest verdict at the end of this video depends on you understanding that the engineering and the marketing are two completely separate things, and only one of them is misleading you. Here's the one idea you need to hold on to before we get into the test results, because it explains almost everything you're about to see. Peak watts sell products, average watts power your home. The number printed on the box, the number in giant letters on the thumbnail of every ad you've scrolled past, is measured at one specific ideal wind speed, usually somewhere in the range of a genuinely strong, sustained gust, the kind that makes tree branches sway hard and lawn furniture skid across a patio. That's not a light breeze. That's not most Tuesday afternoons. The number that actually determines whether this thing is worth your money is what it produces on an ordinary day, in an ordinary yard, and that number never makes it onto the product page because it's a lot smaller and a lot less exciting to type in bold letters. To make that concrete before we even look at my results, let's put some real appliances next to this turbine's advertised ceiling. A central air conditioner draws somewhere around 3,000 watts while it's running. An electric water heater is closer to 4,000. Even something you'd never think of as power hungry, a hairdryer, pulls somewhere around 1,500 watts, several times more than this turbine's absolute best case output under perfect wind. The one household item actually in this turbine's weight class is a refrigerator compressor, which draws somewhere between 1 and 200 watts while it's actively running, and even that cycles on and off throughout the day rather than pulling continuously. Keep the fridge number in your head. It's going to come back up. There's also a psychological trick baked into how these listings and ads are built, and once you see it, you can't unsee it in this entire category of product. First, they quote the maximum possible output under perfect, ideal conditions, not the realistic average an actual household would ever see. Second, they surround that number with words like unlimited, free, or independence. So the emotional weight of the language does the work the number on its own can't do. And third, and this is the one that matters most, they almost never show that peak number sitting next to anything you'd personally recognize. No fridge, no air conditioner, no water heater, no appliance you actually own. Because the moment a real comparison shows up on screen, the illusion falls apart instantly. None of that is illegal, and none of it is technically a lie. That's exactly what makes it so effective, and so easy for a genuinely well-built product to get swept up in. Now here's what a real week actually looked like, day by day, because I didn't want to just hand you a single average and ask you to trust it. Day 1. Day 1. Wattage/conditions. A fairly typical, unremarkable day, right in line with what you'd expect from mild, ordinary backyard wind. Nothing dramatic, nothing disappointing, just an average Tuesday for a turbine sitting on a pole. Then, day 1, changed everything. Day 1. Data. Windiest day or biggest swing of the week. That's the kind of number that would make a fantastic thumbnail on its own, out of context, with no explanation of how rare that particular afternoon actually was. It's also, I'd bet, almost exactly the kind of number a lot of those 5-star reviews were written the same afternoon they saw it. Here you go, filled with realistic placeholder numbers based on typical small VAWT specs, rated approximately 200 to 300 watts. Real-world averages for this turbine class usually land in the 15 to 25 watts range. These are illustrative sample numbers, not your actual test data. Swap them for your real log before you record, since your channel's whole credibility runs on the numbers being genuinely measured. And that's worth sitting with for a second, because it explains a lot about why the reviews look the way they do. A buyer sets this up, gets a genuinely windy afternoon in the first day or two, watches the meter climb toward an exciting number, and writes a 5-star review that same evening while the excitement is still fresh. Nobody goes back 3 weeks later, during a stretch of ordinary, unremarkable weather, to update that review with the quieter, more accurate number. The review gets frozen at the best moment the product ever had, which is a completely understandable thing for a person to do, and also exactly why star ratings on this entire category of gadget tend to run so much higher than real-world performance would justify. But a 5-star review isn't written on a 7-day average. Mine is. Across the full 7 days, adding up every hour, the real average output came out to 19 watts, not 250 watts, not the number on the box. 19 watts, as an honest, unglamorous average across an entire week of real weather, good days and forgettable ones included. Let's translate that into something you can actually picture in your own house. At 19 watts running continuously, that works out to roughly 456 watt-hours a day. In practical terms, that's enough to charge a phone 5 or 6 times over, run a handful of LED bulbs through the evening, or keep a small desk fan going for an afternoon. It is not enough to run a refrigerator on its own, even though the wattage numbers look deceptively close on paper, because a fridge needs that power delivered reliably and continuously, not in scattered bursts, tied to however hard the wind happens to be blowing at any given moment. It will not run a fridge and a Wi-Fi router together for more than a couple of hours before a battery bank this size is completely empty. And then there's the part nobody puts in a 5-star review at all, the actual cost math. At around $280 for the turbine itself, plus a basic battery and a charge controller to store and use what it generates, and 456 watt-hours a day of real output, you're looking at roughly 11 to 12 years before this thing has generated enough electricity to be worth what you paid for it. That's assuming absolutely nothing needs replacing in that entire stretch, which is a generous assumption for a mechanism with moving parts sitting outside in rain, wind, and sun for years on end. So here's where I actually landed on this, and I want to be fair in both directions, because that's the only kind of verdict worth trusting. As a small trickle charger, something that tops off a boat battery, a cabin battery bank, or a backup system that already has a real primary power source doing the heavy lifting, this is a genuinely solid, well-built product, doing exactly the modest job it was designed for. The engineering inside it isn't the problem, and I wouldn't tell anyone the hardware itself is a waste of money for that specific, narrower use case. Filled in the last placeholder. This closes the loop with your number 2 priority pick from your video queue, since it's the natural sequel to this exact video. The problem is entirely the gap between the number on the listing and the number in an actual backyard. If you're buying this expecting a meaningful dent in your power bill, or real dependable backup power during an outage, you are going to be disappointed, and no number of 5-star reviews changes what a real measured average can physically deliver to your house. And to be clear, this isn't a case of a bad product hiding behind good marketing. It's closer to the opposite. A perfectly reasonable piece of small-scale engineering has been handed a marketing pitch built for a much bigger promise than it was ever capable of keeping. And the honest version of this product, the one that says small supplemental trickle charger, not a home power system, would probably sell just fine to the much smaller group of people who actually need exactly that. It just wouldn't generate the same volume of 5-star reviews from people expecting something closer to a mini power plant in their backyard. Here's the honest way I'd put the whole thing. This turbine didn't fail my test. My expectations failed. Once I stopped treating it like a home power system and started treating it like exactly what it is, a small supplemental battery charger with a pole and a permit question attached, everything about it made sense, and I stopped being disappointed in a product that was never designed to do what the ad implied it could do. If there's one habit I'd want you to walk away with from this video, it's this. The next time you see a big peak wattage number sitting next to a word like unlimited, free, or independence, pause for 5 seconds and ask what that number actually equals in something you already use every day. A fridge, a hairdryer, a phone charger. The peak number on the box is marketing, built to be technically true while being practically misleading. The average number, the one measured over a real week in a real backyard, is the truth, and it's the only number that should ever inform what you actually spend your money on. Next up, I'm running this exact same real-world test on the cheapest wind turbine you can buy online, because the gap between the peak number and the average number shows up in almost every product in this category, not just this one.